Okay, good morning everyone, and good to see everybody. Miles, can you read out the apologies?
Apologies for absence, Chair, have been received from Councillors Moses Crook and Alex Ross-Shaw, private sector representatives Ben Aspinall and Lisa Littlefair, and advisory representatives Richard Butterfield and Tamsin Hart-Jones.
Okay, thank you for that. Declaration of interest. I think, Ben, you want to...
I work at the Diocese of Leeds, and we are a part owner of the Dewsbury Riverside site in Dewsbury. But as it's an update today and there isn't any decision being made, I just want to register interest, but I don't think I need to step off. Thanks.
That's fine, thank you for that, Ben. Items 7 and 9 will each contain some sensitive information. So we'll have the discussion, but if people want to raise questions, we can deal with it at the end of the meeting, when we close the meeting. Can we agree the minutes of the 29th of February? Everybody happy with that? Thank you. Chair's updates, just the mayoral pledges, the latest pledges, obviously, 5,000 new affordable homes, local control of buses and spades in the ground on the tram system, a region of learning and creativity with new skills and training system, and a plan to reduce serious violence on our streets and increase access to culture and sport for all children, a programme to insulate all social homes. Work is going on to develop the local growth plan aligned to the Mayor's manifesto commitments. Committee members will have the opportunity outside the meeting to comment on the emerging priorities and ensure alignment with the wider policy programme, including the Climate Environment Plan, Local Transport Plan and Local Nature Reserve. Anybody want to raise anything on that? We're all happy with the pledges? I'm sure we are. We can't get too political. We are in an election period, so we need to be careful on that. We don't want to be looked to be lobbying. Can we go on to item 6, monitoring indicators, Sarah? Oh, sorry, Peter.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So just to recap on the purpose of the paper, it's to present new information that's become available against the selected indicators since the last meeting. And in this instance, that's relating to private rents and housing affordability. And also, a second purpose was to respond to requests for further analysis that were raised at the last meeting. And those relate to energy efficiency and fuel poverty. So just very quickly to draw out some of the key messages. In terms of private rents, we now have new ONS data, which allows us to look at change over time in private rents at local authority level. And we have figures right up into February 2024. As you would expect, these show that average rents are much lower in West Yorkshire than nationally, at around 2/3 of the national average. However, since 2016, West Yorkshire rents have been rising faster than inflation and also at a faster rate than the national average. And that's primarily been driven by the position in Leeds and Wakefield. Turning to one of the second key area of analysis around housing affordability, we've provided a high-level summary of the current position using the standard measure of the ratio of median house prices to median wages, and we've applied that to the latest figures which relate to 2023. The analysis indicates that on an overall basis, housing is more affordable in West Yorkshire than nationally, as you would expect, and there's been little change in the sort of affordability ratio year on year. But a key message that I would like to draw out is that affordability in West Yorkshire is much closer to the national average when we focus on new dwellings only. And in fact, it's in line with the national average for Leeds and Kirklees. And that shows that housing type and quality affects comparisons of affordability. It's also worth noting that the paper details the work the Combined Authority is doing to provide a pipeline of affordable housing. A third area that we've looked at in the paper is around energy efficiency and energy performance certificates. And we presented further analysis of performance responding to queries from the committee. Very briefly, one of the items we focused on is the scope for improving energy efficiency ratings in West Yorkshire dwellings. And what the analysis finds is that 4/5 of dwellings with a rating, EPC rating of below C, have the scope to be raised to C. And there's more analysis in the data appendix. We've also looked at the potential to reduce carbon emissions from dwellings within EPC, and that finds that there's the potential for a 42% reduction in emissions through identified improvements contained within EPCs. Obviously, all these estimates are subject to the technical issues and limitations that are associated with EPC data and the way in which assessments are conducted. And the final area I'd like to focus on is, again, was raised by the committee at the last meeting and relating to health. So we're asked to look at the evidence of the correlation between fuel poverty and health issues at a granular spatial level. Studies show, this is because studies show a link between fuel poverty and respiratory conditions and cardiovascular diseases, and also excess winter deaths. The issue we have here is that we don't have the data to look at the correlation between these issues at household or personal level. And when we look at small areas, there isn't a strong correlation between fuel poverty and the health conditions I mentioned. And this seems to be due to the effect of offsetting factors like age. So, for example, in the pack we've shown that exposure to fuel poverty is negatively correlated to age, so younger people are more likely to be affected by fuel poverty, and that offsets any effects on health, we find. So that's a brief summary. Back to you, Chair.
Thanks very much, Peter. Any questions? Anyone want to comment? Yes, Cassie.
Thank you. As an advisor coming from the NHS, thank you. That's really, really helpful overview. What we can do is take this initial analysis and then involve that and connect it with our business as usual winter planning. So in the NHS, we're always planning for winter, and we usually begin about 6 weeks' time. So I'd suggest that there's our joint colleague Jennifer Connolly and a senior colleague of mine who works on winter planning each year, Anthony Keeley, then picks this up. And let's see where these lines of inquiry take us, including working with our acute provider collaborative of acute hospitals across West Yorkshire, and also with our place leads as well. So I think there's something here that we need to sort of keep looking at the evidence that then might inform us in trying to connect your piece of work and to help if there's any missing data as well, so we're better informed to support those households. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Cathy. Can we note the update then if there's nothing else? Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you. And just a few things to pick out if I can. Think about private rental housing costs, and they're a bit of a concern really in relation to the cost of living crisis, and especially for lower income houses, unable to secure a home, especially in the social housing sector. So I was just thinking it might be helpful if Wicker were able to consider local housing allowance rates as part of their future ongoing analysis. It's something we're kind of talking about just in advance of the meeting. I wonder if there's a bit of further research needed to get a bit of a more accurate understanding of the private rental market in the round as well. Landlords that operate within it, we've always found it, well, there's been an open door with private landlords in Calderdale, but actually pinning them down to any change or strategic thinking has always been challenging. I'm sure that's not unique to Calderdale. Housing tenure information is being collected with council tax billing accounts in Calderdale, and I'm not sure if that's true for other areas, but perhaps something to consider. I'm mindful that it might take time to establish, but it could give us a bit more of an information on changing trends as things move forward. So just a few points there. I hope that's okay.
Thanks for that, Scott. Ben.
Yeah, thank you. Just on the private rental data again, I think not to ask the question now, but it'd be good in future to understand kind of what supply of private rental properties available compared to how much demand there is, if there's a way that we can do that. Because I think one of the things we're seeing at the moment a lot is 10, 15 people all trying to apply for the same private rent. So it's only part of the story that the rents have gone up, but actually there's a lot of people who just can't physically find a rent in the first place because there's so much demand for each one that some people are just being ruled out for various reasons. So I don't know how we capture that from a data point of view, but anything that we can do to understand that would be good, I think.
Thank you. And is there any differentiation between student rent and like family rent or like individual rent in there, especially in the private sector? Because I would imagine that those numbers would be quite different if you segmented the data.
So we can't look, I don't think we can look at that in the local data, but it's something that we could explore more in sort of the national evidence base and so on, to look at the differential and any sort of issues arising out of that, certainly, and then we could report that to the next meeting.
Okay, yes, fine. Anyone else? Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, I think the other statistic which would be interesting will be the net position, because we talk a lot about delivering of new homes, but we lose homes every year through right to buy, right to acquire. So I know I was at a meeting last week as part of the Reef, and Leeds were saying, you know, that although they built a record number of affordable homes last year, they also lost a record number. So the net position was actually pretty much around zero. Because I think that's important, because that's going to push up the cost.
Yeah, I mean, that's always an issue, isn't it? It always has been, until somebody changes that. I won't be political, but I better be careful.
Yeah, sorry, and I've missed a trick there because I always forget to try and make links back to climate, energy, environment. I think I've done it here, so bear with me. So yeah, following the last stock condition modelling research, which I think was carried out about 10 years ago, maybe slightly less, I wonder if we could support the local authorities, all of us, with a stock condition survey analysis and link that towards, I guess, sort of the developing energy efficiency retrofit agenda to tackle carbon emissions as well. I was just thinking of some of that read across there. Sorry, just a late thought.
Oh, you got that one in very well. Peter, are you going to make a note of all these things and come back to us? Thanks very much. If there's no one else, can we note the report and note the update? Thank you. Item 7 is project approvals at Fieldhead Lane. This is to present the Fieldhead Lane scheme for approval for funding so it can progress through the combined authority. It's proposed that 32 affordable homes at Field Lane, Head Birstall, funded by the Brownfield Housing Fund. I think, and then also we have the Langsway, an update on Langsway Enterprise Zone in my area in Wakefield. So I'll hand over to Nicholas and Kate.
Good morning, everyone. I'll talk you through the Field Headline project. Again, this is 100% affordable homes in Kirklees. The applicant is a registered provider, and obviously we are seeking a grant to remediate 1.04 hectares of land, which will develop 32 affordable dwellings. These will be a blend of 15 two-bedroom houses, 13 bedroom houses and 4 one-bedroom maisonettes. All the properties in the scheme will be fitted with air source heat pump and solar panels, thus helping to reduce energy bills and help to tackle fuel poverty. In addition, the scheme will encourage active travel by building a pedestrian link connecting the bottom of the site directly in the wider Oakwell Country Park with both pedestrians and cycle route. The scheme meets the criteria of the Brownfield Housing Fund, in particular the benefit cost ratio of 1:1, which is categorised as acceptable value for money. Approval is sought to proceed through to decision point 2 to 4, busy justification, and work commence on activity 5 delivery, together with funding approval of 500,000 from the Brownfield Housing Fund.
Thank you for that. It's an exempt item, so if members do want to discuss anything on this, we'll have to suspend the live streaming. Okay, can we just note the report? Thanks very much. Right, Kate, Fieldhead.
Thank you, Chair. So Langsway Enterprise Zone, the Enterprise Zone programme is a legacy programme which previously had strategic oversight from the LEP board and was established in 2017, covering 10 sites across the region. Background information on the Enterprise Zone designation is included within the report, but I'm happy to cover any queries on that should members require. We're now looking to progress certain sites to the next stage of delivery, and the focus of today's update is the Langthwaite Enterprise Zone, which is one of our spatial priority areas and is a site owned by the Combined Authority in South East Wakefield in South Kirby. In July last year, the Combined Authority approved funding for the project of £12.7 million to unlock the site, including additional land acquisition, site remediation, creation of a development platform and a new access road. And it's envisaged that in the future the site could accommodate in the region of 20,000 square metres of new commercial floor space. So I'm pleased to report today that planning permission has now been granted. The Section 106 and construction agreements have been signed, and our contractor commenced site mobilisation earlier this week. So we're expecting the formal start on site towards the end of June, with approximately 12 months construction activity. In terms of the future development of the site, the Combined Authority's Head of Commercial Investment and Development is currently working up future development proposals for the site, and a further update will come through this committee in due course. The development of the site does provide an opportunity to support economic activity in an area of deprivation. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thanks for that, Kate. That's really good news for Wakefield, so I'm pleased to say. I've been waiting for this for a while, so it's really good news. Can we... Yes, and the field head lineman, yes. We're happy with that? Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone want to comment on that? No? Okay. And then the strategic partnership update. Natasha.
Thank you, Chair. So the purpose for the report, which we'll take as read, was to provide an update to the committee on the focus areas and the strategic objectives outlined in the Strategic Place Partnership Business Plan, identifying some of the risks the support needs and outline the actions we need to take in order to progress forward, and importantly what the added value of the Strategic Place Partnership is. A really brief summary on the background for the SPP for anyone not familiar. So the West Yorkshire Devolution Deal set out a commitment to develop a Strategic Place Partnership, and in May 2023 the Combined Authority joined together with Homes England to establish the third National Strategic Place Partnership. The model provides a framework to support the delivery and address challenges and opportunities present across the region in improving good quality housing growth and regeneration. The SPP builds on the West Yorkshire strategic priority areas by identifying areas with opportunity to catalyse housing growth and have a real impact towards achieving SPP strategic objectives. Focus areas were identified through the SPP in each of the local authority areas where Homes England and the Combined Authority, collaborating with local authority officers, have focused resources to support realising the delivery of housing in strategically important locations. Over the last 12 months we have seen interventions and progress made across these sites, and the paper draws out some of the specific work we've been doing in each district, so we'll take these as read. Through the SPP, we'll continue to support our district partners on these sites through a series of interventions led by our local authority colleagues. In addition to working with our local authority partners on focus areas, we've also been working on the strategic objectives. Strategic Objective 1, which is to develop the investment-ready proposals and unlock and accelerate housing delivery. The main focus area here has been the Housing Developer Forum, which was launched in January of this year in order to bolster cross-sector engagement, including representatives from local authorities, social housing providers and private developers, all active across the region. Following the success of the inaugural event earlier this year, we're now looking to propose a second Housing Developer Forum. This event will serve as a platform for robust discussion, industry knowledge and invaluable networking opportunity aimed at addressing critical issues facing the housing development sector today, and we would welcome reflections from the committee around the value of the forum at a regional level. Strategic Objective 2, around addressing support and opportunities to create and grow sustainable neighbourhoods and contributing to the region's net zero ambitions. The main priority action under SO2 has been the commission of independent research to further understand the role of MMC, modern methods of construction, in the delivery of sustainable homes relevant to West Yorkshire, taking into account locally specific factors, building on the work of other bodies such as Homes for the North and Offsite Homes Alliance. Some of the key themes coming out of the report we see is about opportunity and creating external factors to facilitate easier adoption and the integration of MMC, looking at expertise, enhancing the skills and knowledge necessary to implement MMC effectively, and motivation the desire among stakeholders to engage with and prioritise MMC. And again, we would welcome reflections from the committee in relation to these emerging themes and discussion for more appetite with MMC in the region. And finally, strategic objective 3, improving the supply of good quality affordable homes, providing greater choice and opportunity for people to access homes. The main work we're doing under this priority is extending the work carried out with Leeds City Council in 22-23 to explore models and increase affordable housing delivery to Bradford, Calderdale, Kirklees and Wakefield. The SPP has provided revenue funding and has worked closely with our local authority colleagues to commission work and provide recommendations to increase affordable housing delivery. The current baseline assessment and engagement with stakeholders have been completed, marking initial steps in the process. And further to this, the next stages will include identifying areas of knowledge gaps, innovative practices and opportunities for funding models, and outlining opportunities for the delivery of more affordable homes. And would welcome reflections from the committee on what more could be done collaboratively to deliver more affordable housing. The partnership has demonstrated effective collaboration, showcasing significant added value over a number of key areas. Principally funding, aligning internal resources about adding value and avoiding duplication. Collaboration, we have identified projects where joined up intervention is required and provided focus for West Yorkshire and helped to align Homes England resources. And finally, local leadership. The relevant local authority partners are at the core of driving and delivering the focus area projects. In the year since the establishment of the SPP, significant progress has been made to focus activity across key strategic housing opportunities in the region. In the next 12 months, the SPP will focus on building on the partnership by concentrating efforts to secure capital investment needed to realise the delivery of strategic housing-led projects, increase affordable housing delivery across the region, working together with West Yorkshire Housing Partnership to unlock the delivery of affordable homes and embed the delivery into plans and delivery of strategic priority areas with tackling climate emergency. The partnership has functioned as an essential enabler, effectively unlocking barriers to delivery and serving as a crucial tool in advancing our progress towards identifying opportunities and supporting the development of more good quality homes in the region.
Thank you for that. Any comments? Anyone want to make any comments? Steve?
Thank you, Chair. I think that sounds excellent. I think the only thing I would just throw in is that with all of the MMCs, it is expensive in its development, and if there are any linkages with support programmes that are offered by the combined authority for capital investment or skills, then it'd be good to make sure those linkages are really explored. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks. Yeah, on MMC again, I'm a massive kind of proponent of MMC, especially kind of fully volumetric schemes, because I think it's a really good way to bring forward good quality homes. The big challenge with it is you've got to decide that you're going to use fully volumetric at the very start of the process, or else the costs change. You have a clear commitment to that. How much buy-in are we seeing? Are we seeing partners who are actually planning to design schemes from the beginning of MMC and are working through that process of off-site alliance, or what's the kind of buy-in that we're seeing at this stage from partners, I guess, on this? Or could we come back on that?
So I'm happy to come back on that in the interim, but obviously we are looking to do more work. So the report was looking at a very wide scale in the region in terms of what the opportunities are. So we are seeing a number of people who are taking up wholeheartedly the MMC product, and a number of people who are obviously still not ready to commit to that level. So we can come back to the committee and provide a bit more update in terms of the specific details, but it is a very mixed bag at the moment, like you've mentioned.
That's great. Thank you. If you could do that, that would be great. Item 9.
Thank you, Chair. Just to say it's really good, and really pleased specifically around the Affordable Housing Commission aspect of things, and I know we've played a bit of a part in that, and the developer forum as well. I guess just a bit of a note from our officers here, which is around the benefits of collaborative working and how we've seen that through the North Halifax Transformation Programme, and we're working, as you probably know, with Homes England to secure brownfield infrastructure. I guess though, as well, like in the current climate of councils and funding and all that kind of thing, I guess just a shout that if there is a possibility to support boots on the ground in our local authorities through enhanced gain share going forward, because I know, I'm sure I don't know what different councils' arrangements are, but I'm sure in other spaces supporting that development and work with developers might be being done with a little bit of sleight of hand and juggling of resources and taking a bit of money from here to support there. So just a wider thinking about supporting the infrastructure on the ground in places like Calderdale, but I'm sure it applies to other places as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, Scott. I think we could all do with some more resources. I know that we were having an away day with the mayor, and we are going to be looking at resources, so we'll come back on that. Can we note the update? Everybody happy with that? Feedback, etc. Okay, item 9, cultural heritage capital projects. Item Appendix 1 is the exempt item, so if members wish to discuss this, we'll have to stop the live streaming. If not,
Thank you, Chair. So I'm mindful that it's been a little while since the committee had an update on the British Library North particularly, and there is therefore quite a lot of detail in the report and the exempt appendix. I'd also like to bring to the committee's attention that in discussion with the Mayor and the Cultural Heritage and Sport Committee, it's been agreed that this committee, with its focus on place and regeneration, will focus on the capital project, and the Culture Committee will focus on the end vision for the British Library and the cultural and creative opportunities that affords for our region and the sub-region. So as a quick recap on the capital project, 25 million was awarded through the devolution deal with government in 2020 to support the establishment of a British Library North in Leeds, and a strategic outline case was approved by the Combined Authority in July 2021, together with 5.35 million for development costs. The British Library have identified the Temple Worksite in Holbeck as their preferred location, and this is within a Combined Authority spatial priority area. The building's Grade 1 listed, it's in private sector ownership, and in 2008 suffered a partial collapse, and that has severely restricted access on health and safety grounds. The project has increased momentum at the moment following the government's allocation of a further 10 million for the project as announced in the spring budget through Levelling Up Fund Round 3 for nationally significant cultural projects. And in addition, Homes England have earlier this year signed a memorandum of understanding with the owners of the building, CEG, and this is to move forward with discussions on a potential acquisition of Temple Works and bring it into public sector control. Further details on the terms of the LUF 3 funding are awaited, and obviously we are now in a pre-election period. So the British Library North and Temple Works particularly are extremely complex projects, and there are a number of partners, including the British Library, Leeds City Council, central government and now Homes England, and the partnerships worked hard to solve some of the complexities around the building and to move the project forward. Historic England, it's definitely worth noting, have also provided significant funding to CEG for repair works. It is envisaged that the public sector partners will enter into a collaboration agreement over this summer to confirm respective roles and responsibilities, and it's currently envisaged that the Combined Authority will continue in its role as accountable body for the government grant. And as I've said, further financial and commercial details can be found in the exempt appendix. So today, given the passage of time since that SOC approval, we're looking for an endorsement from the committee, rather than approval, to the direction of travel of the project as outlined in the report, and future funding of feasibility survey and design work routed via the Leeds City Council, noting minimal costs to date have been incurred. Future funding from the 5 million previously approved by the Combined Authority as development costs is to include the funding of REBA 2 costs incurred by the British Library of £656,000, And also today it's requested inclusion of Leeds City Council's project management costs, and that these be granted from the previously approved 350,000, which was approved for the combined authority's internal PM costs. In due course, project sponsors will submit a change request to the combined authority outlining the next steps for the project. That is my update on the British Library North. As the Chair has said, there is an exempt appendix which we can pick up off the live stream if members have queries. I would also like to quickly update on the National Poetry Centre. As also in the spring budget, there was an announcement of 5 million towards a proposed centre in Leeds. The National Poetry Centre aims to create the country's first dedicated national headquarters for poetry, and a short summary of the vision is included within the report. The proposed site is the former Trinity St David's Church on Woodhouse Lane. This is in the ownership of the University of Leeds, and it's a Grade 2 listed building. The National Poetry Centre are working closely with the University, Council and Arts Council England to bring forward the project. Further information will be provided in due course once a business case is submitted through our assurance framework. This capital project will also fall within the remit of this thematic committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks very much for that, Kate. As I say, if anyone wants to discuss this, we can discuss it at the end of the meeting. The recommendation that the committee is requested to note the report's contents and endorse the use of previously approved development costs for the British Library North project. This includes payment for RBA Stage 2, project management costs for Leeds City Council, feasibility studies, surveys and entering grant funding agreements to progress the project. Is that okay? Okay, thanks very much. And the date of next meeting, I assume we're waiting for the combined authority to set the dates for that, so we'll be in touch with that. Thanks very much. That concludes the formal part of the meeting. Thanks very much.